can lease this 2017 Jetta S for just $149 a month.
Good morning, America. New this morning, our brand new poll showing President Trump at a record low approval rating and the clear message from a majority of Americans about his Twitter account. The president is getting better marks in the economy as the stock market soars. And this morning, a major new setback on the health care bill.
Deadly flash floods. 9 members of the same family swept away by a wall of water in Arizona, triggered by torrential downpours as monsoon season gets underway. The new warnings this morning.
New overnight, this yoga and meditation instructor fatally shot by police after calling 911 to report a disturbance near her home. Major questions this morning. Why were officers' body cams not turned on? Her family lashing out.
And winter is here. The hottest show of the summer, Game of Thrones, premiering overnight. So what's behind this surprise cameo from one of the world's most famous pop stars? The show's so big, it crashed the internet.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
Good morning, America. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. And we know that a lot of you stayed up late to watch Game of Thrones. A lot of reaction pouring into Ed Sheeran's cameo. Turns out one of the stars, Maisie Williams, huge fan. So why not? They brought him on to surprise her.
He ate a squirrel, had some fun. A lot of fans are having some fun at his expense as well. We'll have more on that coming up. Also this morning, though, we have that new poll from ABC News and the Washington Post that points to start troubles for President Trump. His approval rating, just 36%, the lowest ever for a president at the 6-month point. Digging beneath that finding, fewer than 1 in 4 Americans say the president's personal behavior is, quote, fitting and proper. 70% call it unpresidential. When asked to describe his tweeting habits, 68% of Americans call it inappropriate. More than half say the tweets are dangerous. 1 in 5 call them refreshing.
And the president taking to Twitter to defend his son, Don Jr., as questions grow about that meeting with a Russian lawyer in Trump Tower during the campaign. Our chief White House correspondent, John Carl, is there in Washington, has the latest for us. Good morning, John.
Good morning, Robin. After his trip to Paris and a weekend spent watching golf at his New Jersey resort, the president is back here at the White House, fending off new questions related to the Russia investigation.
The president appeared relaxed and in good spirits watching the U.S. Women's Golf Open over the weekend at his New Jersey club. But he is fuming about the investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 campaign. The president's lawyer making it clear who the president believes is leading what he calls a witch hunt.
Is he saying that the Mueller investigation is part of a witch hunt?
Yes, look how it started, and as it relates, especially as it relates to the president.
The president is now also lashing out at those raising questions about his eldest son, Don Jr., and the June 2016 meeting between members of Trump's inner circle and a Russian lawyer that was held at Trump Tower, tweeting, "My son Don is being scorned by the fake news media. Fake news is distorting democracy." But new details emerged even after Don Jr. himself released emails about the meeting.
Do we now know everything about that meeting, who was there, and what follow-up there was?
The meeting in and of itself, of course, as I've said before, is not a violation of the law. The president was not aware of the meeting and did not participate in it.
We now know that not just 1, but 2 well-connected Russians were in that meeting, arranged with a promise of providing damaging information about Hillary Clinton. A Russian lawyer aligned with the Kremlin and a Russian-American lobbyist who was once an officer in a Soviet counterintelligence unit.
This is about as clear evidence you could find of intent by the campaign to collude with the Russians.
In a new ABC News poll, 63% of Americans think the meeting was inappropriate. The president has said that he would testify under oath about all of this.
Would you be willing to speak under oath to give your version of
100%.
But his lawyer said he doesn't think the testimony will happen.
The president
think it will happen?
He would do it. At this point, we have no indication at all whatsoever of an investigation of the president with regard to any of this.
I also asked the president's lawyer if the president would consider pardoning the key figures in this investigation, people like former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, his former campaign chairman Paul Manafort. Many Democrats fear that he will do that. The president's lawyer said he hasn't talked to the president about that, but he certainly didn't rule it out, saying, quote, He can pardon individuals, of course. That's because the founders of our country put that in the Constitution, the power to pardon. Robin?
We'll wait to see if that happens. And we're going to have to still wait on this health care vote because it's been put on hold again.
It's been put on hold again because Senator John McCain had surgery. It's expected that he'll take at least a week, maybe more, to recover. Robin, I think it's quite possible this health care vote gets delayed until after the summer, sometime in September.
That is quite possible. All right, John, thank you.
Let's get more on this now from our chief political analyst, Matthew Dowd. Matt joins us this morning. And Matt, let's dig into this poll a little bit more. Boy, the partisan divide as wide as ever. I want to put up this number first, showing that 82% of Republicans support President Trump right now, but only 11% of Democrats. The real trouble for President Trump there is that independence number, though, only 32% support.
Yeah, George, and that independent number was basically roughly even, and now Donald Trump has a minus 27 net number among independents. This divide, though, is really important. It's grown over the last 25 years from it used to be about 40 points between the in-party and the out-party. Now it's 70 points plus. That makes it a very difficult process for either side to get anything done, as divided as we are.
And as bad a shape as President Trump is in, not a lot of good news for the Democrats either. I want to pick up the number right there, showing that only 37% of Americans think the Democratic Party actually stands for something, has an agenda. More than half say they're just standing up against the president.
Well, we have Washington, D.C., where the president is unpopular, both major parties are unpopular, congressional leaders on both sides of the aisle are unpopular, and all the institutions in Washington are unpopular with the American public. As I said yesterday, it's a Marvel Comics movie where we have all villains and no superheroes. And
not a lot of popularity for that health care bill either. You know, John Carl just said it could be put off now until September if it ever gets the votes at all. But this number really is stunning in the poll. Right now, 50% of Americans support Obamacare. Only 24% support the repeal, more than 2 to 1 right there. It is hard to imagine really pushing this kind of legislation that is this unpopular. We've never seen that before.
No, we haven't. As you remember, with Obamacare, at least it was roughly even when it started, then it dipped over the years. And the interesting thing, George, Donald Trump has done something Barack Obama was never able to do. Donald Trump has made Obamacare popular, and President Obama was never able to do that. When you start this low, usually you only go lower, and it puts a lot of pressure on those Republican senators that are moderates in those states where people do not like this Republican proposal.
Real quickly, you and I both served in White Houses. The 6-month point, usually a point where presidents shake things up if they're not going well. What's the single thing he could do right now that could at least start to turn this around?
Well, as we saw from the poll, there's a big part of what's driving his negativities, George, is his tweeting and the way he communicates. If all he did was adjust that, I think he would begin to rise, but he doesn't seem willing to do that. If he could adjust the way he communicates, I think he'd have some improvement.
So far, nothing yet this morning. Okay, Matt Dowd, thanks very much. Robin.
And George, one of the high points for President Trump in our latest poll, the economy. 43% say they approve of how he's handling it, while 41% say they do not. Wall Street appearing to react positively. The Dow closing at a record high on Friday. A lot of eyes are on the market this morning. And our chief business and economics correspondent, Rebecca Jarvis, is there at the New York Stock Exchange with the details. Good morning, Rebecca.
Good morning, Robin. That's right. Wall Street sees this White House as pro-business. That's what's helped propel stocks to these new record highs. The prospect of tax reform, deregulation, an infrastructure program, all of these things that business views as positive. With them, the market continues to rally, but without them, many investors are concerned about whether or not all of the rally we've seen so far is really justified. Also put all of this into context. Since the Great Recession, since the market bottomed in 2009, stocks are now up more than 200%. And since the rally began this year and stocks have added $1.7 trillion in value, 1/3 of that value has come from just 4 companies: Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, the parent company of Google, and Facebook. And Robin, the concern is that if any of those companies waver, so goes the stock market, Robin.
As you often tell us, the stock market does not like uncertainty. All right, Rebecca, thanks so much.
Okay, Robin, we're going to turn now to that deadly storm that swept across Arizona, taking the lives of 9 family members in a horrifying flash flood. Ginger here with the details. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning to you, George. Such a sad story and a really rough morning. Still in Phoenix this morning, hours ago, I-10 closed. You can see right there at 7th Street, the water flowing in. This is an image we're going to see more of this afternoon and today. More of this, too, where damaging winds come along with it, knocking down trees. But yes, after a deadly weekend, flash flood threat for most of Arizona. This is the chilling moment a flash flood overtakes a family outing in Arizona.
There's the son over there and the mom's in the water.
A man struggling desperately to hang on to his son. 14 members of one family celebrating a birthday at this swimming hole when a 40-foot wave of black water crashed over them. 9 of them dead this morning, including 6 children between the ages of 2 and 13, 1 still missing.
This is my brother. He has to be found. They can't stop looking until he's found.
It came on them very quick, and there was no reaction time. This is the worst flash flood accident we've had.
Driving monsoon rains up to 1.5 inches per hour, causing the hasty washout. This time lapse shows the intensity of one of the thunderstorms further south, kicking up dust. The flash flood watch in place today for storms this afternoon and evening. It could happen again. It'll take 1 inch per hour. Very quickly, the water will come down anywhere in the blue there. So just south of Flagstaff through both Phoenix and Tucson. This is an afternoon and evening, but we're the beginning of monsoon storm season. So we could see 3+ inches in some of these spots. Robin?
Thinking of all affected. All right, Ginger, thank you. Now to major questions about a fatal police shooting in Minneapolis. A woman killed after calling 911 to report a disturbance outside. Officers' body cameras were not turned on during the incident, and ABC's Lindsay Janis is here with that story. Good morning, Lindsay.
Good morning to you, Robin. Justine Damon was just 40 years old. She was due to be married next month. She was calling 911 to report a disturbance in the alley behind her home, but somehow she ended up dead.
Overnight, a Minnesota community coming together to mourn a 40-year-old meditation and yoga instructor who was shot by police after she called 911 to report a possible assault in the alley behind her home.
We want to remember a really peaceful, lovely woman.
The woman, Justine Damon, was originally from Australia and due to marry her fiance, Don Damon, next month. Her stepson, Zach, the first family member to arrive at the scene.
My mom is dead because the police officer shot her for reasons I don't know.
The Minneapolis Star-Tribune reports that 2 officers in one car responded to Justine's 911 call. They pulled into an alley about 100 feet behind her home. Wearing her pajamas and not carrying a weapon, Justine came out to explain why she called 911. While speaking to the officer in the driver's seat, the officer in the passenger seat pulled out a gun and shot her through the driver's side door. The police department saying the officer's body cameras were not turned on and the squad car did not capture the incident. Both officers on leave this morning. The community desperate for answers.
I am heartsick and deeply disturbed. I have a lot of questions about why the body cameras weren't on.
The neighborhood had 3 lights mounted on telephone poles between Justine's house and the alley. Most garages in the vicinity had motion detection lights. The body cam rollout for Minneapolis police was complete following last year's death of Philando Castile, who was shot and killed by a cop while his girlfriend captured it on Facebook live stream. A month ago, the officer in that case was acquitted.
Justine's fiance was away on a business trip when she was killed. Investigators are still scouring the area for possible security video, hoping that maybe the shooting was caught on camera. In the meantime, so many questions about what happened.
And still no excuse why those body cameras were not on?
Nope.
All right, just heartbreaking. All right, Lindsay, thanks so much. Now, Amy has the morning's other top story, starting with a headline that affects so many.
It does indeed. There is new research, guys, that is linking extreme stress in your life to a higher risk for Alzheimer's disease. Scientists say stressful events like the death of a loved one, a divorce, or even being fired from your job can age your brain by as many as 4 years. One theory is that stress increases inflammation in the brain. Well, a beloved community activist who campaigned against street violence is among 10 people shot and killed in Chicago this weekend. The youngest victim of the weekend gun violence in the city is a 9-year-old boy who died in a drive-by shooting. No word of any arrests in either case. And some stunning video from St. Louis. An SUV ended up on the roof of this house. Look at that. Police say the driver was speeding and launched over an embankment. He is in critical condition, but thankfully no one was home at the time. Actor Martin Landau has died. He was perhaps best known for his role on the TV series Mission Impossible, but he won an Oscar for his portrayal of Bela Lugosi in Ed Wood. Landau was 89, and Hollywood is also mourning the loss of filmmaker George Romero, considered the father of the zombie movie. He directed Night of the Living Dead. Romero was just 77. And finally, this is an incredible story. People around the world reacting to a former bride's act of kindness. Sarah Cummins had to call off her $30,000 wedding just a week before the big event. And rather than let everything go to waste, she decided to invite some homeless people in the Indianapolis area to the reception, and a local business helped donate suits and dresses. The meal included bourbon glazed meatballs and chicken breast with Chardonnay cream sauce. I love what she said. She said it was an opportunity, and it was definitely a sad event to have to call it off, but it was an opportunity to let people experience what everyone should be able to experience. And they were very grateful. It was a beautiful gesture.
Yeah. It's a beautiful story. Thanks, Amy. We're going to move on now to all the action at Wimbledon. Roger Federer making his case for best pro ever by winning a record-setting 8th title, his 19th Grand Slam victory. That's another record. And just weeks shy of his 36th birthday, no signs yet that he's slowing down. TJ here with that amazing story. Hey, TJ.
Yeah, George, good morning. Like fine Alpine wine, right? This guy just keeps getting better with age. He's now the oldest man to ever win a title at Wimbledon, and he won this tournament without dropping a single set. Now, he's been known to break down his opponents, but that doesn't explain why his opponent yesterday was crying uncontrollably mid-match.
It's another one for the ageless wonder.
Roger Federer is now the men's Wimbledon champ for the record 8th time.
I always believed that I could maybe come back and do it again.
His opponent, Marin Cilic, was gunning for his first Wimbledon win and opened the first set on the attack. But that didn't last long. Federer showed why he's a 19-time Grand Slam winner, while Cilic showed signs of distress.
Cilic is imploding.
A fall in the second set, then a stunning moment courtside. The crowd watched in shocked silence while Cilic cried uncontrollably.
You've seen tears rolling down the big man's face.
It almost looked like he's hyperventilating.
As a doctor and trainer rushed to his side.
Unless it's more emotional than physical.
I think he's upset because something's hurting to the point where he doesn't think he can continue to play.
This went on for nearly 3 minutes. It was later revealed Cilic had a severe blister and knew his championship dreams were shattered.
My mind was all the time blocked with the pain, and it was tough for me to focus.
Federer, now the oldest man to win in the tournament's 170-year history, paused to honor his opponent after the match.
It is cruel sometimes, but he fought well, and he's a hero. So congratulations on a wonderful tournament, Marin, and you should be really proud.
Again, Cilic there just overcome because he knew he didn't have a chance after working for this moment. And you know who was there, as always, watching?
Royals.
The Royal box. Check them out. The Royals, the Duke and Duchess there checking it out, looking cool as ever. And then the moment afterwards, they, of course, greeted the 19-time champion Federer. And he got some love for the Duchess there. A couple of kisses on the cheek there. So it's always a fun time, and good to see who's there.
No pics of the 2 sets of twins from Roger and his wife?
What do you want? What do you want from me, Robert?
I love that.
You only gave him 20 seconds.
Thanks for that, TJ.
You got it.
Ginger.
I was watching. I thought you were going to say Hugh Grant was there. That's who I saw them pan to. Anyway, quick look at Livingston, Texas tornado this weekend. That did damage today. Damaging wind possible even in the Northeast. You can see it right there, Vermont to Pennsylvania. Let's get to the select cities now. Brought to you by PetSmart.
Joey here's a Chihuahua. He's got unique features that make him different than, say, a Shih Tzu or a Yorkie, and definitely different than this German Shepherd. Hey, big guy. That's why at PetSmart we carry Royal Canin breed health and nutrition formulas, tailored nutrition, and uniquely designed kibble for their specific needs. Now spend $40 on Royal Canin and save $10 on your next purchase. And when you buy any bag of dog or cat food, we give a meal to a pet in need. PetSmart, for the love of pets.
After a gorgeous weekend with low humidity, temperatures back up just a little bit, and especially the humidity. So today we top out just near 90 degrees. Notice the umbrella. We'll also see an isolated shower storm coming our way during the afternoon hours. The locations that favor that rain, those storms, D.C. areas north and west, Montgomery County, Loudoun County, up through Fauquier County, and eventually even Washington County in Maryland. We've got a chance tomorrow during the afternoon, Wednesday too, and then cooling down next week.
The family searching for answers after their daughter mysteriously died on vacation in Mexico. She and her brother both found unconscious in the pool. Was it foul play?